Hey guys, Happy New Year! I don't know why it came out like that. Happy New Year, guys. Tisha here, and we are back for another Sister Wives Season 8 review. There was a lot of things going on in this episode, so much so that I had a headache while watching it. It may seem like we're all over the place a little bit. Don't mind me, but the episode was a little all over the place. So let's start off with Janelle, okay? Janelle's room, as we see her getting packed for this trip that they're going to be taking, is a hot mess. I mean, stuff is all over the place. And as I was watching this episode, I feel like Janelle's a mess too. So we find out that about a month ago, Janelle had a session with Nancy, who we know is their therapist. And in this session, she came to the conclusion that she still has some unresolved issues and some things that she's holding on based on the past. I don't understand why she's just now realizing it, given that this is now season 8 and we've understood this for a long time based on the fact that we don't really ever see Janelle and Mary interact. They hardly interact. She knows that she does want to approach Mary about this and talk to her about some of the things that she's discovered in therapy, but she feels like she'd rather do this after the trip because Janelle does not like any form of confrontation or real conversations, if you ask me. So it's summertime. The Browns are heading on yet another RV trip, and this time the final destination is going to be Montana. The first stop is St. George, where they're going to handle business. Second is Lehi, Utah, to look at the old house and handle some things with that. Third is Salt Lake City, Utah, where Christine's mother lives. And they're going there to check on her mom because in 5 weeks' time, she was going to be moving in with Christine. She's by herself. She's lonely, so she wants to make sure that she's closer to them, which is understandable. I can relate. I am my mother's only child, and when my mother was going through some health issues and some things of that nature, I did come back in the area so that she can have some form of support. Cody said that he told Christine's mom a long time ago that she's always welcome to move in, and he does feel like it's his obligation to make sure that his mother-in-law is taken care of, and he would do the same thing for any of the other ones. Robin, who is the guru on plural marriage, tells us, even though we know that she's never truly lived it, that in plural marriage, people are used to having a lot of family members around and they're very family oriented. So this is the type of culture that they're all about. So it's not a surprise that one of the moms would move in. So it makes sense that her mother would be moving closer. The final stop is going to be Billings, Montana, where they're supposed to meet the Coyers, I think their name is, another polygamous family with a husband and 2 wives. So the husband has 2 wives and they're currently courting a third. Cody is then seen looking frantically for the hose for the sewers as we see the other wives packing things. He would get on my nerves because every time it's time for any type of trip, destination, anything, Cody always seems extremely jumpy. We find out that a guy by the name of Chris is the reason that they're going to St. George for their first stop. We know that they still haven't gotten the money from the investor Stan and his team. So now they're looking at possible lenders, and Chris could be one of them. They want a line of credit, some type of loan, and Chris is who they're seeing because apparently Cody has been talking to him for over 2 years, and Chris suggested 2 years ago that instead of trying to look for other investors, what they should do is that they should borrow money so that they can keep 100% ownership of their company. And they were in such a desperate place. That's why Cody said before he didn't listen to him, but now he is looking to borrow. So we see them. He tells him, we want to borrow between $50,000 to $100,000. Chris says, okay, what do you have as collateral? They don't have anything to offer, really, if you ask me, for real. But Cody says the business or the inventory. Now, something doesn't seem right about that to me because how is it that you're having this important meeting where you're asking for $50,000 in a pawn shop standing over a display case? He tells you that he wants $100,000, and without seeing everything, without knowing how much inventory they have, without even knowing what the value of the company is, you're willing to say, okay, we can absolutely loan you that range. So they agreed to take some of the inventory as collateral to fund the money that they're going to loan them. They shake hands. They're given some picture with a whole bunch of polygamists to present to the Colliers as some cartoon joke thing. And they get back on the road. So we see them go to the RV park at a spot in Nephi, I think was called, Utah. Originally, Cody was supposed to be staying in a hotel and alternating with each wife, beginning with the first, and then he was going to go all the way to his fourth, depending on the night. But he likes the area so much now that he says that he wants to stay at the RV park for the first night. Christine says, you are absolutely going to be in trouble with not with if not one, but all of your wives. He says, listen, ladies, you don't want me to get to that place where I don't give a sugar honey iced tea, because when I don't, we're going to have a really bad time. Because the only thing that matters to Cody is Cody. Janelle's like, when he decides to do this and to change his schedule just because he likes a place, she feels like, whoa, okay, you're creating a lot of tension. And that's what he does because he doesn't care. They get to Lehi to see the old house. I don't understand why they really took this stop here. We're reminded a lot about how the kids didn't want to leave and how traumatic it was. And Cody said that with the police investigation, when it started, they were under threat of being arrested, so they decided to leave. I have said this time and time again. They did not even get to a point where they were being questioned, let alone a possibility of being arrested. So the fact that they keep trying to put this false narrative out is annoying to me. Cody claims that just being outside of this building is giving him anxiety. They walk in, the place is a mess. Aspen says at this point, so much has changed within the home that it doesn't even feel like it's their house and it doesn't matter anymore. They walk through and Christine comes out and is ready to go. She said that the memories about how bad it was towards the end with them having to leave and stuff like that, it just makes it hard. As I said before, won't no point in them being there. And Cody even made a statement to Mary like, yeah, you come here all the time. That's why you don't have any anxiety, which further says, okay, Mary's visiting this space. She's walking through. She's checking on things. She's working with the contractors. So why is this a thing? So they head to Christine's mom's, who is 40 minutes away. Once they get there, they see how much things of hers that she is planning on bringing to Christine's home, because she has a full house of things and she's moving it into Christine's home that already has things in it as well. Christine says she's giving her a room, a family room, and a bedroom. Christine's mom says that she does not want to take care of the house and the yard anymore, that at this point it's just too much. She's getting older and it's something that she really can't keep up with. I have a newfound respect for homeowners. Growing up as a child, all I had to do was water the grass when it came to the house. Like, of course, I had to do chores and stuff like that, but watering the grass was my job. And I mean, at whatever house I was at, whether I was at my dad's or my grandmother's or whatever, I was going to water the grass, especially in the summertime. And I didn't mind doing it. Water it, keep it moving. But in September, my mother had a heart attack. Don't worry, she's okay. It was a lot at the time. Have a newfound respect and appreciation for her. But I did not really realize how much my mother was doing at her home. Like, of course, I come out there, visit her, see her, do things around the house if she needs me to do things around the house. But my mother is not your normal 65-year-old, okay? Mom looks good, like really good. And I guess I took that for granted. So after she had this heart attack, certain things had to be done, like making sure that the yard and stuff like that was maintained. So of course I have to come over and not just take care of my mom, but also maintain the yard. And I was like, okay, this is a lot. And there's no way that after I'm done doing this, that if I cannot do it or my son cannot do it, that we don't need to hire someone to make sure that that is taken care of, because I don't feel like that's something that my mom should have to do. So I get why Christine's mom was tired. Cody's seeing all the different things that the mom has, and he just says that he sees one more woman moving into his life with all this stuff. I feel like that comment was rude. You already knew that she was going to have a lot of things. First of all, she's had however many years of life to collect things. We know that older people do have memories and connections and things of that nature. And a lot of times the things that they have are of greater value of what we have now. My mother has, of course, she has like brand new things, but for many, many years, my mother had the original bedroom set. It's a little creepy. That her and my father purchased when they first got married. Now, of course, over time, like she changed out the bed or whatever, but like the dresser and stuff, that was some good furniture, like great furniture. They just don't make it like that no more. So with that being said, of course, she was going to have some things. Cody's rude, especially because she doesn't have to come and stay with Christine. I'm sure that she had other options, and that whatever amount of time that she will be staying at Christine's home, that it's going to be beneficial to Christine because Cody does not help her. Christine's mom says that one of the things that she's been talking about Christine is how this transition is going to happen with her being there and her not feeling like an intruder to their home. They're going to have to make sure that they work out how things will be because she doesn't want to be an issue with Cody. And she says that her and Cody can't be triggering each other. The fact that her mom was so concerned about her and Cody triggering each other lets me know that there's a lot of things that Cody did that Christine's mom didn't appreciate. And as a result, she was concerned about how they would get along. Christine says that she can't have her mother taking sides. When they do get into an argument, she needs her mother to stay out of it. And Cody says that they have so many arguments that he's sure she'll be involved in a lot of it. Christine laughs it off, but in that moment, Cody wasn't being sarcastic. I feel like he really meant that. And even though he tried to present it like it was sarcasm, that's not how I received it. Next, they head to Maddie's apartment with all the adults, the kids, and Robin's nanny. We hear that Maddie has been homesick, according to Robin, because Robin has been looking at her social media. That's what she gathered from her social media. They flood her apartment. They check out her fridge, see it's kind of bare. And Cody tells her to come downstairs so that she can pick up some stuff. Y'all knew you were going to see Maddie. You could have easily picked out different things that you liked. I know that I got the pleasure of my father popping up on me at times at college. And best believe if he did not have some moolah, he had some groceries. And it was very much so appreciated. So Cody lets us know that Maddie left over a month ago and he was not satisfied because he didn't feel like he made a connection and when he talked to her. And I just feel like you had 18 years to do that. So the fact that once again, you're making this about you is baffling to me. He hopes that this trip, he can see how things are and they could be reconnected. I don't understand how you're going to do that in a matter of minutes because they weren't with Maddie that long. He asks her how she is. He says, I lived here once for 9 months and it was super lonely. The first 3 months were very, very lonely. And Maddie says, it's been good. I've made some friends and I actually like having, some alone time. Janelle again brings up how she's proud of Maddie, but she knows that should some guy come along, it will be like a problem and Maddie might fall for it. And I just don't understand why she felt like Maddie was so open to falling for guys and losing focus. Kind of makes me wonder if Janelle knew that there was some form of absence of Cody in her life. And as a result, Maddie has some slight daddy issues. I'm not trying to put that on her. I'm just wondering, where is this coming from with Janelle? When the moms see Maddie's stuff, they start rearranging things like the stuff that's in her kitchen drawers and cabinets and moving things around in her bedroom and stuff like that. And I would be completely irritated with that. Please do not mess up my space. Play a joke in another way. Maddie said that her dad always wants to be told everything, but no kid tells their parent everything. So she feels like because she hasn't told him everything, that he's looking at this as if he's not fully connected with her, and that's just not the case. Cody makes everything about him. The fact that his daughter is basically saying that as long as she doesn't tell her father all of the ins and outs of her life, he still feels like he's missing something with her. It shouldn't have been about Cody in that moment and him feeling connected. It should have been about Maddie, and if Maddie is really adjusting well to her new environment, because it didn't even seem like Maddie's roommates had moved in yet. It just seemed like it was just Maddie in that space. So it's a new day. They go to pick up Garrison, Gabe, and Savannah. Wait, I don't know if it was Gabe and Garrison. I know that I saw Peyton too. They go to pick up some kids from the ranch. I think it was Gabe, Savannah, and Peyton. I'm not sure. That they go to every summer. They were supposed to see Robin's friend, but he canceled. So now they have to think of something else to do. Janelle says she got an idea, but I don't think. No, what did she say? I don't know how popular it's going to be. Meaning, Janelle was very aware that Christine was not going to be fond of this suggestion or this person, but she still made it anyway. Way to think about your sister wives. They'd like to tell us that the sister wives are friends and all these other things, but at this point, Janelle was not looking out for Christine. This must have been one of the times where they weren't getting along that well. So she says, Ken Grant, who was a friend of Cody's from the 7th to 11th grade, he's always telling Cody that he should go boating with him. Mary says she wouldn't mind going boating with him. Cody says, okay, but Christine hates him. I don't know what to do about that. Janelle then lets us know that a few years ago, Ken sent out a text to Cody saying, you know, Cody, you really should divorce 3 of your wives. Come back to the church so you can be saved. Cody says his wife learned of this because what he probably did was he probably shared the message with all his wives. And a couple of them were saying he's just being a joke. Some said, okay, he's just jerk. Some of them said he's just teasing. But Christine, on the other hand, was offended. Did she have a right, hearing that statement, to be offended? Yes. Does she have a right to feel like her husband should support her? Yes. But the minute that she was offended by the statement, Cody should have had a conversation with Ken so that it didn't escalate to the point that we are now seeing on our screens, because this takes up a lot of what is left of this episode. She says, so you're really going to call him? He owes me an apology. Cody says, what? She says, for saying you're welcome back to the church, but you have to leave 3 wives behind. Cody says it was a joke. I do not feel like it was a joke. And I also don't feel like Christine had to approach Cody the way that she did. But you can see that she, was offended. And I can tell if it was reversed and somebody said, like, you got to get rid of Tisha, I probably would be offended by the fact that they said that and you expect me to hang out around them. Just doesn't seem like a good time. She says, it's not okay, and I'm beyond pissed that we're going to see him. Christine, at that time, could not handle anyone who was against her beliefs. Let's look back at the whole way she even interacted with her aunt when that whole debate happened. She barely wanted to talk to her. She turned all red in the face. She couldn't even go to the bathroom by herself. She was very rude, if you ask me, to her aunt, who wasn't even being rude, mean, or disrespectful to her. She brings up how they had the reunion, the high school reunion, with some of Cody's friends and Cody, and that Ken was very brutally honest. I look at how she was responding to this, and I think that this is possibly the same way she probably acted with Mary, with some of the things that they had, because she cannot handle people that don't speak the way that she wanted them to speak. And Christine may have overcame this more so now, but back then, the fact that this blew up the way it did, it was just a bit much for me. Everything isn't going to be sweet. Everybody isn't going to like what you have to say. And I just feel like it didn't have to drag out like this. She said at a point when Ken made certain statements that she realized Ken is not safe. I absolutely hate. the way that this family has changed the meaning of the word safe. Someone having a different thought process than you does not mean that you're put in harm's way. You may be uncomfortable, but you're not unsafe. She said, if I had friends that said the same thing about Cody that was said about us, Cody, you would not want me hanging out with them. And that's true. His response, rather than acknowledging what she says, is that Janelle says that it happens to her all the time. I don't understand what Janelle has to do with that conversation, because this is about Christine and Cody right now. And the fact that we're told that all these marriages are separate, but he brings up a particular wife when it's convenient, just shows how manipulative Cody can be at times. Janelle says she can't understand everything that Christine is saying, but Christine did grow up in a world that outsiders wanted to separate her family from them, and people like Ken were those outsiders. So she can see why Ken may come across as unsafe to her. What I don't understand is how Janelle, who isn't married to Christine, understands this, but Cody, her own husband, doesn't. Christine says she doesn't understand why he's allowed on their family vacation when he's against most of their family. I do not like her delivery, but Christine is a little right about some of this. He says, listen, he's always invited me to go boating, which completely negates everything that Christine just said. Janelle says he's harmless, he's fun, he has opinion, so do we all. If that's the case, then why hasn't Janelle forgiven Mary for her opinion? Why is it that this guy who said basically like divorce 3 of them and keep 1 is able to be forgiven, but Mary can't? They contradict themselves left and right. Cody says Ken accepts every wife in the family, but he jokes about coming back to the church. It's not a joke because he did say it more than once. She alluded to that conversation in high school, that he had a lot of opinions about things. And he did say a lot of stuff. And honestly, the only reason why that situation de-escalated at the time was because of one of the female friends that said something to kind of switch the conversation because it was going to the left. Cody doesn't want to talk about it and he walks off. Janelle says that when Cody's at odds with one of the other sister wives, that she always feels it. Christine comes in to the RV with Mary is driving and says that it pisses her off. Mary says, do you think that maybe Ken was just being like a stupid guy? You know, the way we sometimes see Cody do stupid things or say stupid things. And Christine says, if that's the case, then he could just say, sorry, I was being an idiot, which is true. Cody should have said, like, look, you kind of hurt my wife's feelings when you said that. If you don't mind, could you just tell her you didn't mean any harm by it? And it could have been like finitoed. They table the conversation because they're meeting the kids that were at the ranch to go to this tour on Old Faithful. We see them meet up. We see the kids enjoy it. Oh, excuse me. Cody then later says, I tried to get a hold of Ken. In spite of your complaint, Christine, he's not available. Christine said, that's too bad. And Robin and Mary burst out laughing, and Cody is pissed. He says, to be fair, he is just coming from his religious perspective. I have a sister, and she actually said these words. Why don't you just stop having sex with all these women and just be married to one and come back to the Mormon church? His own sister just doesn't get that this isn't about sex. And Cody doesn't get that this wasn't just about ignorance for Christine. This was about more. Even though I don't agree with what Christine is saying, Christine feels uncomfortable around this man and she didn't like what he said. And he's not acknowledging Christine's feelings. Christine says, why can't you just ask him for an apology and kind of defend me? He says, no. He says that Christine's ego is holding on to this, and it's getting so hard because now what she's going to do is she's going to bleed onto the whole family with this. It's all driven by her pride, and he's pissed. She gets up and says, please say that you're going to be somewhere else tonight. In other words, you're not going to be with me. He says, I'm with you, but I'll sleep on the couch. She goes in the RV, slams the door. He says, we'll let her play her games. Cody always associated Christine's feelings with games. Whether he agrees with it or not, her feelings were legitimate to her. None of those wives correct him when all of this is going on, when he does this foolishness like say she's playing games. He says it's princess behavior now. It's just a game and he doesn't like it. and the poison has gone through the whole family. Thank you, Christine. If I see my man doing something wrong, I let him know that he is wrong. Maybe not in front of everyone. Maybe I say, hey, babe, can you come here for a second? Look, you didn't handle that correctly. I think that you should ABC. Maybe I text him because there's a whole bunch of people around and I want to get him to hurry up and calm down right then and there. But at no point do we see these women do any of those things. We don't see them pull to the side. We don't see them touch him on the shoulder. We don't say, okay, Cody, like, let's just table it for right now. None of that happens. None of it. None of them ever call Cody out on his crap, which is why Cody got away with so much stuff that he did for all these years. It's the next day. Cody says that last night he didn't sleep on the couch, but he didn't sleep well. We see the family have a picnic, and it's a chill day. Gabe has a tooth. Cody says he'll give him $10 if he can get it out. We see Cody help him put pliers on it. Nothing comes of it. I really don't care. Later, we see Christine and Cody talk again. He apologizes for how she's feeling, but Cody doesn't really want to apologize or mean it. Christine explains people like Ken scare her because she's been taught that those people are the type of people who would separate them. He knew how she felt about Ken, but he still reached out, and that bothers Christine, and that is legitimate. If Christine said, I don't really feel comfortable with being around him, then he should have been okay with that and not force the issue. But Cody does not care about Christine. She doesn't understand why Cody would have reached out to him and why he'd be friends with people who are against them. She wants apology from him for saying it. He said he feels that he basically has to go to Ken and say, my wife won't let me play with you unless you say you're sorry. And he doesn't feel like it's significant. And he just doesn't agree with it, so he's not going to do it. She says, I know you're not going to ask him for an apology. He says, and I'm not going to ask him for an apology. I don't ask for apologies. He said it real like, Cody does not care about her feelings, as I said before. If Robin was offended by this, he would have handled the situation completely differently, because Robin was offended by, let me guess, COVID and the statements that Garrison made blaming her for the rules. And to this day, 5 years later, well, not 5 years, because it hasn't been around for 5 years. We'll say to this day, almost 4 years later, we're still hearing about this offense. Christine wants Cody to be a champion for their family, and Cody feels like her saying that is undermining. He's feeling like she wants him to choose between his friend Ken and her. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, I can see why you guys are done. He sees it as him making a simple comment and she doesn't. Just honor how your wife feels. He says that my wife is putting me in a place where I have no way to be honorable unless I completely say goodbye to him. He says my wife has my balls in a sling, and in order to be good, I have to say I can't be your friend anymore. They'll never agree because of Cody's ego. He can never meet her needs because he doesn't care about her needs. As they're talking, and we see that the conversation is going nowhere, Mary lightens the load, and they have a marshmallow bomb fight where they soak marshmallows in the stream and then they throw them at people because they have money to waste on marshmallows. I guess we'll see the Colliers next week, and we'll meet them officially. And that is the end of this draining episode. I really was annoyed while watching this, and even when doing the review, I'm also annoyed because it just goes to show you that Cody didn't care about Christine's feelings. Because whether or not, and y'all let me know, was Christine right to be offended by Ken, I think was his name was, saying that Cody should divorce 3 of them and just have 1 wife? Did she have a right to be offended? Because I think she had a right to be offended, but I don't think it had to escalate the way that it did. And do you all feel like she deserved an apology? Should Cody have said to his friend, like, look, man, if you don't mind, could you let Christine know that you didn't mean any harm by what you said? And that you, even though you do feel like there are some spiritual differences here with us, that you still, care about us as family or friends or whatever. You guys, please like the video if you have not done so already. I cannot believe that we are officially in the year of 2024. Growing up, I never even thought this far. I think after 25, I didn't think of anything. Like, I just had goals and what I saw myself being at the age of 25. I never thought of myself of being where I am now. So to those of you who've already subscribed, thank you. To those of you who haven't, what are you waiting for? I'm trying to get to 1,000 people. I want to rise. I guess I think I'm still in church. Glory. All right, let me go. I'm getting silly. Until next time.